We're good? We're good. Good afternoon. It was a slightly slow thumb there, so I was like, are we ready or is it? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. Never a dull day on this channel, is it? Never a dull day. Welcome to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your Tuesday breaking news show with a bit of fun towards the end as well. I promise you it's a bit of fun towards the end, so make sure you stick with us. We've got the wonderful Shreyas alongside me. Namaste, Cassian.
Yeah, I'm doing perfectly.
Showing off my Indian there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm doing perfectly fine. And yeah, lots of stuff to cover today. Lots of stuff coming out. So yeah, glad to be on.
Absolutely. Loads of stuff. Can't wait. I hope you've all had a nice weekend and a nice start to the week. Does that fit in your category, Shreyas? Have you had a nice start to the week? You had a nice weekend? Has it been an okay? Saying that, you just got back off holiday, haven't you? So it's a bit of a... Oh, but we're both half and half, aren't we?
Yeah, half and half.
Yeah, let's get some love arts in the chat for Shreyas. Let's support your boy. Just a quick one for anyone who's currently watching. 75% of new viewers haven't subscribed yet. So if you are new to the channel, why not subscribe and why not support the channel and why not receive daily content as well? Speaking of daily content, on today's show, we're going to discuss Louis Saha's comments on the inform Antony. We've got some quotes from Roy Keane and Bruno Fernandes on Bruno Fernandez. And we've got the team of the season to discuss near the end as well. Me and Shreyas are going to do a combined team of the season, and we're going to discuss the nominations and who got in, who didn't make the cut. Some United players didn't make the cut. Be interesting to get all you... start again. Be interesting to get all your thoughts on that as well. So we'll just start. We'll just hit it nail on the head, Shreyas. We'll start off with Louis Saha's quotes on Antony. And obviously Antony's is a hot topic in it for any kind of rival fan, any pundits, any clickbait media like TalkSport and all them kind of things. But yeah, Saha's kind of come out in his defence and he's come out with a couple of nice quotes about him. So I'll get your thoughts on these. He said, I think Antony will have a great season next campaign. He's already a very good player. People forget the Premier League is the toughest league to adapt to, and people think physicality, technically, and because of the price tag, he could do better. He can improve his diversity in the game. He can improve the way he surprises people and can work on the way he finishes in game. I think he's a great player. People are demanding more because it's United and the price tag. I don't totally agree with this. I think he's showed he's capable of playing a lot of games. He's strong, even if he's not the biggest. I think he's done well, but he can show more. Now, as I mentioned there, he's a player who's received a lot of critics this season, Shreyas, but feels like he's starting to come into his own now, done it at the minute. How have you assessed this season so far for Antony?
I think, once again, the biggest reason for why Antony was being called out a lot was definitely because of the price tag that he actually came in with. But, if you take the price tag out of the window, if take out of the contention that that he came for about 80 to 85 million pounds for us, he scored in some big games for us and he's turned up in some big games for us. He scored against teams like City, teams like Barcelona, and in those sort of games where we actually needed a spark of brilliance, Antony has been able to turn up in those games. And he's been getting goals on and off. If you have to compare it over the different game weeks, you will see that Antony, he's around that score sheet or score chart every single time that Manchester United play football. And I think this has been happening for the past 3 weeks, that we've been saying that this is Antony's best game for in a United shirt. Next week we say it again that this is Antony's best game in a United shirt. So slowly and gradually he's elevating his level. We all knew that he's going to get better. Of course, it's going to take him some time to adjust to the Premier League, because the Eredivisie definitely has a different quality. It has a different playing style, different sort of opponents, so you play in a different style altogether. The Premier League is much different than that. So for a new player coming in, it is going to take him time to adapt. And now that he's adapted, he looks very sharp, he looks very aggressive, and the thing was, when he came in, we used to see him hesitating a lot when you used to see him around the final third. Now he looks like a killer around that final third. Whenever he's on, whether he's playing alongside Dalot, whether he's playing alongside Wan-Bissaka, he has tuned up his chemistry quite well with the fullback that he plays alongside with. And it's benefiting us a lot, and it benefits the other players on the pitch. With if it's Martial or players like Bruno Fernandes, they benefit a lot from it as well, because he is the reason why Martial and Bruno are able to they were able to exploit that amount of space against Nottingham Forest, because they were just not able to contain Antony, and Antony was just running around their final third, making spaces for almost every single person on that pitch.
Been an absolute nuisance, wasn't it, to be fair, and he has been for the past couple of weeks. It's weird because he's the one who gets all the headlines, the price tag, the fact that he's at Manchester United. You kind of expect that with it. Everybody knew that the criticism was going to come, even if he had a little bit of a dip in form within 2 weeks. But you look at the wingers in the Premier League this season, no one's discussing the actual Brazilian flop in Richarlison, who is £60 million for Spurs and hasn't even scored in the league yet. Literally hasn't scored. Kulusevski on the other wing, who everyone says is so underrated, but he's got 2 goals and I think 6 assists. Mudrik's got no goals, 10 games, £85 million. Havertz, somehow, we're going to discuss later, has got in team of the season. I don't know what these people are watching. Honestly, Tirana Sterling Rex as well. He's got 6 goals and 2 assists. And this is a kid who's been in the Premier League since he grew his first pube. So I'm not having Antony getting all this criticism. Grealish is fair enough, because Grealish is he for 3 years. It took him a while to transition, didn't it, with Jack Grealish? But it looks good for City. He has been good for City this season. But this is Antony's first season. I just don't get it. What more do you want to see from him, Shreyas? What do you think he's capable of doing for this club going into the future?
I think the only thing that's left to see from him now is him just scoring more goals. Because except that, if you look at his all-round play, it looks much more sharper in comparison to what he was doing when he actually came in. And we've seen him in a lot of games when he gets into very, very decent positions, he's just not able to convert. I think that's the only area where he just needs to focus, because I think Antony is that sort of winger who could get to that 20 goal mark by like when next season rolls in. You never know, he might hit it this season as well. Antony might end this season with 20 goals and assists. Right now he's in very, very good form. Rashford's injured. Still don't know when he's going to be coming in. So this is the time when these players need to step up. And right now Antony is doing a lot of that. He's taken a lot of, I would say, pressure off Sancho and these other players, because we needed someone to step up in this attacking lineup, and we've been saying that a lot, that you cannot rely on just one player to score you all the goals. And we've seen how much edge we lose whenever Marcus Rashford is not there on the pitch. But against Nottingham Forest, it definitely didn't feel like it. The only like Ten Hag mentioned, the only thing that you could have witnessed in that game would be that we would have scored more goals. That's the entire thing.
The finishing.
Exactly. So I think that's the finishing department is the only area I would say that if Antony works, he can cause much more troubles to opposition teams. Because imagine you've got Marcus Rashford firing off from the left wing, you've got Antony firing off from the right wing, and then a fit Martial in the center. You've got a very, very decent and stable front three.
Yeah, there was. I'm not sure if you watched the presser after the Nottingham Forest game, but there was some comparisons drawn between Arjen Robben and Antony from the manager himself, and everyone was losing their mind saying Arjen Robben. Bobby Zamora commented on Sports Bible thing saying, what was it? Something like, "Oh, don't even compare him to Robben. What a joke this is, whatever, blah blah blah." And I was like, he wasn't comparing him. He just said he literally had a similar style. He's not said he's had the same career.
They've got similar traits. Definitely, you cannot compare them as players, because and Ten Hag never, as far as I've gone through that presser, Ten Hag never mentioned that he is an Arjen Robben player. He's just mentioned a particular trait. And that style, trait has always been that Arjen Robben, even though he relied on his left foot a lot, that's all it took for him to actually make a whole career out of. And Antony could do that job as well.
Yeah, and what was funny about that as well, I also added just at the end for a little bit of an insult. It said, just much like your style, Bobby Zamora, is like Weghorst. Now you can see the comparison now. I'm not saying you're the same player, but you're a similar style.
At least Weghorst scored 2 goals.
Well, yeah, exactly. Bobby Zamora can't even score. He was absolutely dog shit. But yeah, you can definitely see the similarities. Very heavily one-footed, and there is a criticism. We always say he needs to use his right foot a bit more. He's starting to do that now. Just to switch it up a bit, because if he's doing that consistently, it's like defenders are just going to read you, mate. They're just going to get onto you and show you when you're right if you are weak on that side. But if you can switch up a bit every now and then, you'll keep your game, ticking over. And I think again, it's just about climatization. Climatization, is that the right word? Climatizing to the league. That's all it needs with Antony. But we'll park that discussion there. I want to move on to the quotes about Bruno Fernandes, another player who has received a lot of criticism, received praise on equally from his peers. Roy Keane's been speaking about him. Roy Keane's actually had some very strong words on him and positive as well, believe it or not. Usually if Roy Keane comes out and his quotes, it'll be absolutely, shredding into De Gea or shredding into Fred or McTominay, but he's actually had a lot of positive stuff to say about Bruno, so that's nice. He said, I know we criticise him when United don't win football matches, but he's 2 steps ahead in terms of his quality and the picture he has on a football pitch. I think the guy's pure quality. He's got a good relationship, obviously, with Christian Eriksen and all the guys around him. I just think he's pure quality. That's from the captain. That's from Roy Keane. That's, from a huge player. Rio Ferdinand had his take on it as well. He got asked what makes Bruno better. He said he needs Eriksen to get that other level. Eriksen, the amount of easy passes he makes that are just great for teammates, he obviously improves him. And just a little stat here for you as well, Shreyas. Bruno Fernandes has created the most chances from open play in the Premier League this season. Yeah. So, do you think he gets enough praise, or do you think people just like to focus on the negatives with Bruno?
I think they definitely do. And once again, Bruno has been a target of many media outlets ever since he's come in, because when he came in, Bruno just took the league by storm, like completely took the league by storm. And people say that definitely he had one of his worst seasons at United last season. He still managed to get more than 20 goals and assists in a worst season, the worst season that he's ever put in. He still got more than 20 goals and assists. So I think if a player in that United team last season, if he's still able to deliver 20 goals, more than 20 goals and assists in a season, imagine what he could do in a team that is actually functioning well and has a clear mentality flowing through the system. Genuinely imagine what that sort of player can do. And he's doing it right now. He's crossed his last year's tally, and we've still got a lot more than 10 games left this season. So
would you put him in a...
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I think this season he's also been given the job of a captain. A lot of people, had come out and said he's probably not right for that sort of role, because he doesn't have that discipline and the team reacts to the captain. But I think ever since he's taken that captaincy role, his game has just elevated a lot, and the team responds to that on the pitch as well.
In his position, would you put him in the bracket of one of the greatest in Europe? Right, I mean, in terms of right now.
As a 10, you could. As a 10, you definitely could. And
so give me your top 3 10s.
Top 3 10s. Bruno, De Bruyne, and
Odegaard.
The thing is, Odegaard is, I don't know whether he's an 8 or a 10 now at Arsenal. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, he can do a bit. But same with Bruno and De Bruyne, to be fair, isn't it? They're that intelligent. You can just play anywhere.
But I think if you compare, Bruno in comparison, if you compare them as midfielders, complete midfielders, not as 10s or 8s, just as midfielders, I think Bruno's game is much more well-rounded, because he dictates the game when he plays deep, even as a 6, as an 8. I don't think De Bruyne can do that job that what Bruno did for us in that game where he functioned as a 6. And yeah, I think as a 10, he definitely is around with the Bernardo Silvas, the Kevin De Bruyne's, Martin Odegaard. And I think he deserves to be put into that sort of conversation as well, because he's been playing non-stop for us as well. If you look at the amount of minutes that Bruno's played, he's played the most minutes. You could arguably say across Europe.
His versatility, his availability, and his work rate is so underrated.
And honestly, his work rate, you will never see Bruno tired on the pitch. When he's on the pitch, exactly
10 plus kilometers per game with ease, and doing it consistently every single game. That is, you don't find that in many players in Europe with that ability as well. And like we just touched on, the most chances created in the Premier League season. I'd argue if you look back since he signed for United, I guarantee there's a stat out there. He will be right up there with every creative stat you need in the Prem. He just will be. So yeah, he does. Look, he gets pelted sometimes when, the Liverpool game, for example, when his attitude was absolutely stinking. He was throwing his arms up, smashing into linesmen and all this kind of stuff. But he's so important. I think we had one game, I don't know if you remember it, Shreyas, where We played Donny van der Beek in the 10 instead of him. I
Yeah.
think it might have been Bournemouth or something. And it just was just completely different. You was like, oh, that's why we need him. That's why he's so
Yeah, I
important.
think it was a cup game. As far as I remember,
Yeah,
I think
you
it was
might
a
be right.
cup game, and Donny played in the 10, and I think Bruno was suspended for that game. So
You might be right.
yeah, I think the hole that he leaves behind is, he's like
Huge.
Marcus Rashford, he's just irreplaceable in that team. And there are a lot of irreplaceable players that we finally got at this team. You've got Bruno, you've got Casemiro, you've got Rashford, Varane, Martinez. A lot of these players are irreplaceable at the moment.
I was looking at his injury record over the past couple of years. Well, since he joined from Sporting and his record at Sporting, he's had like 4 injuries. And it's been like a couple of days or something. It's a joke. So I expected at some point he's just going to get to his 30s and all these muscles are just going to start crumbling because he puts in so much work. It's actually it's inhuman how much he plays on a regular basis. It really is. And credit to Bruno Fernandes. Kind of sticking with Bruno Fernandes a little bit. We wanted to do the team of the season nominations and discuss these, didn't we? So we'll get on to the United players shortly, but I'm going to read out the shortlist for you, and then let me know your opinions on it. So the goalkeepers that have been nominated for team of the season are Kepa, Leno, Alisson, Ramsdale, and Nick Pope. Okay. Defence, you've got Gabriel, Saliba, Trippier, Botman, Zinchenko, Thiago Silva, Lissandro, Shaw, Ben Mee, Romero, Ruben Diaz. And then midfield, you've got Ødegaard, De Bruyne, Casemiro, Rodri, Bruno Guimaraes, McAllister, Paulinho, who you're a big fan of, Maddison, March, Mitoma, Bentancur, Højbjerg. Strange one.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, the forwards, Haaland, Saka, Kane, Martinelli, Grealish, Rashford, Salah, Almiron, Watkins, Havertz, Mahrez, and Nunes. So just give us your thoughts on them, please, Treyas, if you can, mate. Who sticks out like a sore thumb out of the players that I've just mentioned, do you think?
Kai Havertz, Ben Mee.
Yeah.
I mean, Darwin Núñez has been nominated as well.
Yeah. Yeah, strange one, that, innit? I think he's just got, with his goal last night, because he beat Leeds, didn't they? 6-1, whatever it was. I think he's just got into double figures now, just with that goal. But that's not, how can you be in contention with
like team of the season? No, you could. I mean, I don't know what the standards are, but if those are the standards, a lot of our players should be in that, in that contention. I think Varane needs to be nominated. I don't understand why Rafa Varane hasn't been nominated. I think this season he's been flawless for us, and whenever he's been there, he's done a solid job. Like both of them, Varane as well as Martinez. I think they both need to be in there. I think David De Gea definitely needs to be in contention. He is the leader for the clean sheets in this tournament up until now. So not having David De Gea in there, I really don't understand on what basis, because I think David De Gea has been really great for us this season. Like genuinely, he's been really great for us, and he saved us a lot of points. He's turned up in a lot of games, and once again, I think he's been able to function quite well off Varane as well as Martinez. Them being in front of them, I think it takes that pressure off him whenever you try him playing. Whenever you see him trying to play out from the back. So I think overall, I think De Gea needs to be mentioned. I think Varane needs to be mentioned. Højbjerg and Bentancur once again are two players which I would argue why they have been nominated, because I don't think, if you compare them to to the other midfielders that are available in the Prem, I wouldn't nominate them, because you've got much better options than them. I mean, if you compare Bentancur and Eriksen got 7 assists within half a season.
Yeah, well, this is what I was just about to touch on now with Christian Eriksen. If you're going to mention them players in nominations, Eriksen's in with a shout, 100%. Højbjerg was good for Spurs in the first half of the season, I would say. Yeah. Now he's fell off a little bit. And I've watched Romero loads of times for Spurs, and he has got clangers in him. Yeah. He gets red cards, he gives away silly fouls, he just lapses the concentration at times. Like when he's on it, he's good. But so far, from what I've seen, especially because I've watched him closely the past couple of weeks, he has not been good at all. Yeah. Bentancur's got a massive injury as well. He was all right. He was one of Spurs' better players, I'd say. Yeah. But it's just weird, isn't it? So Romero, Bentancur, Havertz, Kepa.
Kepa, what reason?
How many goals?
How many Chelsea? Yeah, exactly. How many goals have Chelsea conceded this season?
Yeah, like he's made the odd good save and stuff like that, but he's not. This is what I mean. I think there's certain things going on with FIFA to have them nominated, or maybe you have to have a certain demographic who's I don't know what it is.
If you have Kepa, how can you not have David De Gea in that list?
That's crazy,
if you have Kepa.
That's the one. Yeah. And how can you have Bentancur and Højbjerg without Bruno Fernandes nominated in that? How does that make any sense whatsoever? Like even if you was going for dynamic midfielders and you said like, all right, well, yeah, we'll put some 6s in there, we'll put some 10s in there, we'll put some 8s just to mix it up a bit. You know, obviously Paulinho plays as a defensive midfielder, Ødegaard's more of attacking, whatever, right? But even Bruno as a 6 against Everton was better than what I've seen like Højbjerg at times. So it makes absolutely no sense to me. Should we just go at this and do our own starting 11 and take it upon ourselves to we'll just jump straight into it. So out of the nominations, or do you want to have just the nominations that we've got on the list, or do you want outside nominations as well?
Outside nominations for sure.
Of course you do. Rhetorical question. I didn't need to ask that, did I? So you're by that answer, I take it you're going to want David De Gea in your
definitely 100%.
Right. This might be a separate 2 teams then, because we might disagree on certain things, and because there's only 2 of us, I don't think we're going to be able to agree. So I'll do a Shreyas team.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, let me just move that because that's going to get in the way. Yeah, so we'll do a Shreyas team, and then we'll do a Nick team, and then we'll pop the graphics on Instagram if Sam can be so kind. So you're going to go with David De Gea in your team of the season in net. Yeah, David De Gea. Oh, come on. And now it starts like, yeah, they're sorted. I will have, oh my God. I think it's weird because you're thinking about form at the minute, but then it's obviously over the whole of the season. I'd probably go, it's tough. That is tough. That's a hard shout, that. I think Alisson's the best keeper out of him. But I think Pope's had a better season, probably.
Yeah.
I'll go Nick Pope. Fuck it, I'll go Nick Pope. But I do think Alisson's the best at the minute.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll go Alisson. Fuck it. No, I'll go Pope. Changing my mind. Yeah. Let's just move on to the defence before I change it again. Defence. So who are you having as your right back? Because I'm just going to go straight away and put Trippier in there.
Same.
100%.
Trippier. Yeah.
Trippier's got to be in there. He's been unbelievable. Do you remember we was linked with him?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 30 mil. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But looks like a bit of a bargain, to be honest, at the minute. He's been so good for Newcastle. I think he's got the 3rd highest chance creation as well. And that's as a wing back.
And during set pieces, he's unbelievable. Like, absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. Who are you having as your centre back partnership?
I would go Varane and Martinez in a heartbeat.
This is so biased, isn't it? Varane and Lisandro as your partnership, yeah? That's absolutely nailed on, confirmed. There's no one competing.
The best
partnership. You won't choose anyone else.
The best centre-back partnership in the league.
Okay. I would go Saliba and Lisandro, of course. Lisandro's always going to be in there every day of the week. Left back, we're talking Zinchenko or Shaw. Probably the ones that am I missing any? Yeah, Zinchenko or Shaw, the only ones who are in it.
Who plays at left back for City now? Cancelo left, right?
Ake plays there sometimes. You've got, I don't know, they switch it about quite a lot.
Exactly.
Sometimes Ake play there, like you don't have an out and out kind of wing back, which is strange. And they let their wing back go to Arsenal, who might win the league with him because like a big reason because of him as well. Zinchenko's been good for Arsenal.
Yeah,
he's been very good for Arsenal. Yeah. But who'd you pick?
I'd go Zinchenko just because Arsenal are top of the league. Otherwise, I would have gone Luke Shaw. But I think
for
the position you have to go.
Okay. I'll put Zinchenko. Also put Zinchenko. And then we move into the midfield where it's I think it's I think it's simple, but again, I think we might disagree on this. So I will go with. We'll just say as your first midfielder, defensive midfielder, Casemiro.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, at least we agreed on that. Casemiro. Yeah. So, sorry, I'm just writing. Casemiro. And who are you having as your second midfielder, Shreyas?
De Bruyne.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I would have Kevin De Bruyne as well. Undeniable. Probably the greatest midfielder on the planet in the minute. And then who's your 10?
Bruno.
And he's going to put Bruno. Bruno Fernandes. I would go with Ødegaard.
Yeah.
I think Ødegaard's been better, in my humble opinion. Yeah. This is me, by the way, trying not to be as biased as I can. Like, I'm really trying not. Forwards. So I think we do the 4-3-3, yeah, just give them the formation, etc.
For striker, you just have to go Haaland. Like,
Erling Haaland, yeah.
Let's get out of the way.
Undoubtable.
Yeah.
Just get out of the way, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he was always going to go in, wasn't he? Let's be honest.
100%.
What about your other two?
I think right wing, you go Saka. And
Saka.
Yeah. I think for Arsenal, he's been absolutely amazing. I think for left wing, there's only one person you could go with.
He's born to play red and white. Yeah, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Let me have a look at the ones. So the forwards we had choices from. Haaland, Saka, Kane.
But Kane, you could say Kane but Haaland has just got so many goals this season. You cannot put anyone in comparison to him right now.
He's in God mode this season, isn't he? Quite literally. Haaland, Kane, Martinelli's been good for Arsenal.
Yeah.
He's been very, very good for Arsenal. He would be close. I know I'm a United fan, and people might think you're talking absolute rubbish, but trust me, I've watched Martinelli a lot for and
Arsenal. Especially against us. Like, absolutely.
He's been dangerous. Yeah. Very, very dangerous. And then you've got Rashford, Salah, Almiron, Watkins, Havertz. I mean, even you look at some of the lower down ones there, like Watkins, for example. His record since we've come back from the World Cup is very similar to Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Like, even. That's in a Villa team as well, a worse team. So there's definitely arguments for Watkins. Yeah. There's arguments for Kane, as we said. Grealish has been really good for City. If you're not really a stat padder, then people more lean towards Grealish in terms of how important he is for Man City. But yeah,
you could put Bernardo Silva in there as well. Like, honestly, you genuinely could put Bernardo Silva on, one of those winger positions as well, because he's been absolutely amazing for City this season.
It's weird with Bernardo because I feel like there'll be times where Pep won't use him for a bit. You won't see him for a few, and then he'll just come in the team and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, we all forgot."
I think Pep
fantastic
Pep
player
has just got too many options to work with. Like, if he doesn't play Bernardo Silva, he has to play Riyad Mahrez, which I don't think it is any sort of a drop off.
Yeah. Right. So your team, Shreyas, is you've got David De Gea in net, Trippier, Varane, Lisandro, Zinchenko at the back, Casemiro, De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes in midfield. Haaland, Saka, and Marcus Rashford up top. We're going to put a graphic out on Instagram, and we'll get some people voting, etc., to see who you think, which one you prefer. For example, my team is Nick Pope in net, Trippier, Saliba, even though it says saliva. I definitely don't want saliva at the back. Nick Pope, Trippier, Saliba, Lisandro, Zinchenko, Casemiro, De Bruyne, Ødegaard, and then Haaland, Saka, and Rashford. I think it's going to be hard for anyone to look past Haaland, Saka, and Rashford in there. Like, whatever argument you make, I think them three are pretty nailed on. Casemiro, De Bruyne, nailed on. And then it's a little
Bruno or
Ødegaard. Bruno or Ødegaard is kind of one of them. And then Zinchenko, Shaw. And then your centre backs as well. It's a discussion. I find it really... The keeper was the one I found hardest. I still can't decide now. I'll just put a name down just to put a name on a thingy. But yeah, interesting in it with the nominations. What do you think? So that's the team you want. Who do you think will get it?
I think Ramsdale goes in net.
Is that if they win the league or just like?
I think then in that case, Ederson goes in net. And
who?
Ederson goes in net.
Oh, Ederson.
Yeah. City are going to win the league. City are going to win the league. So, Ederson net. I still think Trippier's, he cements his spot. Lisandro Martinez 1000% needs to be in there. Then
Yeah.
Ruben Diaz, Zinchenko needs to be there. Casemiro 100% needs to be in there.
Might put Rodri in there though.
Exactly,
Might put Rodri in there.
exactly. I think it's either Casemiro or Rodri. No Thomas Partey. Like genuinely no Thomas
Yeah.
Partey. Casemiro or
That's
Rodri.
not, yeah.
Yeah. Except that Kevin De Bruyne once again, another player who 1000% will be in there.
Guaranteed.
Martin Odegaard will 1000% be in there as well. Um, Marcus Rashford, Erling Haaland, and Saka. I think these three have cemented their spots in there as well. So yeah, I think pretty much there. But probably you might see someone like Bernardo Silva or someone of City coming in because they win the league.
Yeah. If any Chelsea players make it, you know, it's an absolute fucking fix. The biggest fix you've ever seen in your life. But we won't put it past FIFA or the Premier League, to be fair. Yeah, to be slightly corrupt. But that is the team of the season nominations. That is our picks. The fact that Varane and Bruno Fernandes and David Gea haven't even been considered is absolute criminal law and should be taken to court with some of the players that I've been mentioning there. We said to him before. I mean, some like Romero, Bentancur, Havertz, Kepa, and you're not putting De Gea or Bruno or Varane in there. Are you having an absolute fucking laugh? What a joke. What an absolute joke.
Yeah, I mean, Varane hasn't had one bad game this season. Like,
He's
genuinely hasn't had one bad game,
Yeah, he just gets on with it, does his job. And because people focus a bit more on the Sancho because of how good he is on the ball, and rightfully so. Like we know he's press resistant, fantastic at ball progression, and just reads the game really well. Aggressive, physical, does his job, great in the air for his height. Varane does similar things. He's not as good on the ball, but he's a leader. He's dominant. He's decent in the air. He's quick. Like they both complement each other really well. But yeah, he's definitely should have been nominated. That's weird that they haven't. But yeah, we'll part that there, guys. It's only a quick 30-minute breaking news show, just circumstances outside of my hands. Thank you for coming on, Treyas. Appreciate your time, mate.
Yeah, very, very happy to be on.
Yes, sir. And yeah, that concludes the show for today, guys. Sorry it's a quick one, but look, we've got plenty more content coming this week. We've got Sevilla on Thursday, the preview, loads of stuff, some TikTok live. So make sure you follow us on socials, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like on the video, and me and Treyas will see you guys in the next one. Peace.